Let's get into Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is going through it right now. He was shanked over a dozen times in jail or prison, rather, and both his lungs collapsed, which sounds horrible. I have like medical anxiety, so I will freak out. But let's talk about what Tory is going through. He was attacked at about 7:20 a.m. at the State Corrections Facility in California. Both of his lungs collapsed, and Tory was placed on a breathing apparatus, though he's now breathing on his own. Oh my gosh, that really freaks me out. God blessed. Tory's reps say that he's in pain but is talking normally and is in good spirits and deeply thankful to God for surviving. You guys know that Tory is a musical artist, but he's serving time for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the feet after Kylie Jenner's birthday or some party at her house in 2020. I don't know if it was a birthday. I think it was a birthday party, but he was convicted in 2022, and in 2023 he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. It is wild that he's only like 2 years into his sentence and he's already being almost unalived. But it's an unfortunate situation that all of this went down. And the fact that Megan was shot in the foot, I mean, that's incredibly painful. I'm glad she's able to still twerk it the way that she can.
Meg told the jurors that after she got shot, Tory offered her $1 million to keep quiet because he was on probation. There were also transcripts read in court of text messages Tory sent to Meg that night saying he was so sorry, he wished he could change what he did, he was drunk. But Tory is now claiming that his apology was taken out of context and he was in fact apologizing for the fact that he slept with one of Meg's friends and that made her jealous, which is a lot of gumption for a man who stands at 5'3", but I digress.
Now, stabbed or not, no one on the internet has sympathy for him. This comment reads that these celebrities are getting a rude awakening about normal life. Danny Masterson and others are receiving karma. One Love commented, just patch him up and send him back to another prison. Carry on. And then finally, this comment reads, odd, right before his album release. I mean, that would be a really insane way to go and try to get some press for your album, to go and get attacked while in prison. And it's also interesting that he's even putting out an album while he's behind bars, but you know, I don't even know. How do you do that? How do you even do that? Do you just record through a phone? Comment below. Does anyone know?
Like, it's so obvious he's doing it for the clout. Like, did anyone even see the stab wound? Did anyone even see the blood? Did anyone witness it? Like, where's the footage?
The fact that y'all are trying to blame Megan Thee Stallion for Tory Lanez getting poked in the slammer lets me know that y'all are every bit of delusional that I thought you were.
Man, I don't believe this shit, bro. Like, he lying, shorty lying. Like, how you get stabbed in prison, that's the safest fucking place on earth. It's all them guards around. Like, how you just get stabbed up in front of a guard? And I need to see the wounds. What are wounds? Show me the stab wounds. It don't make sense to me. Like, he want to be a victim so fucking bad.
Let's get into the Beckham family. Now, there's been a lot of dramas at the Beckhams. I've been deciding on whether I want to dive into it, and I decided yes. Families around the country celebrated Mother's Day, which shout out to all the mothers out there, happy belated, paying homage to special women in their lives. David Beckham was among those to post the Sunday celebration to his Instagram. Now, why this Mother's Day post is such a big deal is because Brooklyn, one of their sons, has been estranged from the family, and part of the reason is because the brothers have been double dipping, if you know what I mean.
Seems as though Brooklyn Beckham and his wife Nicola Peltz have been distancing themselves from not only his parents, but from the whole family. Well, allegedly it has everything to do with his brother's girlfriend. The brother I'm referring to is Romeo, and his girlfriend is Kim Turnbull. Romeo decided to take this relationship public in December of 2024 when he posted Kim all over his social media. In the weeks following, she started to hang out with his family. Brooklyn was already familiar with Kim. The rumor is these two were in a relationship back in 2016 or 2017, but her brother Cruz put that rumor to bed when he responded to a comment on Instagram saying that wasn't true. If it's not true that these two were an item in the past, what's the reason that these two have been avoiding the family? None of this is confirmed, but it's being alleged that Brooklyn thinks Kim is using his brother Romeo for fame.
So that is a messy situation to have the two brothers like interested in the same girl. Also, it would be really awkward for the woman, I feel like, to go and date a brother. Comment below if you guys know of a story of like when someone started to date someone else's brother and maybe it worked out. Now, recently, Brooklyn and his wife were absent from David's 50th birthday celebration. Part of the reason is because Romeo and his girlfriend Kim was there. Now, I think it's fascinating that we're starting to see these famous like kids essentially grow up and start becoming their own people. And we're watching these dynamics unfold, and it's clear to see that there's something going on here. I mean, I think even when it comes to David and Victoria's marriage, there's some things that are questionable. But either way, when it comes to these brothers, there's definitely some like tension, clearly.
I don't think, though, that this small falling out about Kim Turnbull could be a reason or valid motive for Brooklyn not to acknowledge his dad's birthday or turn up to any of his special events. That seems bizarre to me.
I think it is wildly out of character for Brooklyn not to do a carousel about his dad on his page. Like, he always does appreciation posts.
So it's interesting. Why is he feuding with his own father? Well, one outlet says that David verbally berates his son on the phone, and that they were upset that Victoria was sending text messages as if her husband didn't scream at Brooklyn for an hour. I don't know what he's screaming to him about. TMZ also noted that Brooklyn and his wife made themselves available for months and months to discuss all the ongoing drama, but David and Victoria don't engage with them because it looks like his wife, Brooklyn's wife, always talks back to them and stands up for Brooklyn, which causes even more of a fight because she's feisty and she's ready to fight back. It looks like Kim, Romeo's girlfriend, has David and Victoria's approval, so she's kind of winning in this situation, but Brooklyn, not so much. He feels protective over his younger brother, and I guess he has dealt with Kim before, so he knows what Romeo's getting into. So I think Brooklyn probably is trying to help his brother avoid a red flag, but maybe she's grown up. Maybe Kim's a different person now. Let's get into Ariel Winter. Now, you guys have probably heard of Ariel Winter from Modern Family, and she's opening up a little bit more about the trauma she had gone through. Actually, shout out to Ariel. We grew up in the same town. We're both born in Fairfax. I would see her at Panera growing up, which is so wild to think about. She claims that the body shaming in the industry really made her want to get out of Los Angeles. Every headline she read about herself was about her body and how she looked terrible or pregnant, or she says like a fat slut. Wow. And she was only 14 years old. I wonder if we can look up some of these articles and call some of these people out. Like, who are those weirdos? She says that part of the reason why I've always hated LA is because I've been followed by paparazzi for a long portion of my life, and I really dislike having my space invaded. So she was like, I'm gonna get the hell out of LA. And honestly, I feel like people like Justin Bieber could learn a lesson from Ariel Winter, because it seems like she's at peace.
The criticism that I feel like you get.
People love to hate.
People love to hate.
I feel like I've definitely gotten the brunt out of everyone on the show.
Yeah.
For sure, of the criticism, and I mean, it doesn't make sense.
I was just like, how do you deal with the quote unquote haters?
I mean, it sucks in general. It's like, as I got older, I developed a lot faster when I was younger, and it was like people wanted to hate on that, and I was like, okay, well, I can't do anything about that, so fine. What do you want me to do? Wear a bag? Yeah, I'll feel like crap.
My body. Thanks.
It's like people hate on that, and then as I got older, it was like I had a different kind of body. I was a curvy girl, and it was like anything you'd wear, it was like, oh my god, a high school. What a horrible role model for our children, or whatever, or she looks fat. Like, as you get older, you go through so many different phases with your body, and it's like really, it's hard to do in general without people commenting on it. And then you have 3,000 comments on a photo you post that you feel like you looked good in, and that you were like having a good day, and you're like, cool, I'm like happy to post this. And then all of the comments are not all, but the majority of the comments, and even though there are lovely comments, and it sucks, but like the ones that stick out the majority in your mind are these horrible comments.
So on top of getting the negative attention from the press, Ariel also had issues with her mom at home. Her mom's name is Chrysola, which I've never heard of that name before. Call me Chrysola. Quite a name. Kind of reminds me of Ursula, but add Chris to it. We've covered her relationship with her mother before. She's accused her of harming her when she was a child. She claims she was removed from her home by the Department of Child and Family Protective Services during a stint on Modern Family, and she emancipated herself at 17, 3 years after being placed in the care of her older sister, Chanel. So she clearly had problems at home, and if CPS stepped in, then I think it shows the mother's guilt.
She's just lying. She wants the headlines. I think she craves attention. And if it means throwing your mother under the bus and hurting her and breaking her heart, she's going to do it.
I actually cannot stand Chrysola. I think she's a terrible mother. I mean, clearly Ariel has it together. She's out here working, building a career for herself ever since she was young. So I don't know what Chrysola's problem is. I think she's got insane jealousy over her daughter. But Ariel claims that she didn't leave the industry. She just left the city of LA, that she's still trying to work. After moving out of the city, she started doing some TikToks though, where she's been doing a cooking series and produced a few small projects. So even though she's out of LA, she's still trying to keep relevant, but it's pretty hard to do when you're not here. But she's also told People magazine about her work with an organization called Safe from Online XCX Harm, which lures predators into meetings with local law enforcement. What Ariel does is that she acts like a child to try to lure a predator into, I guess, the same facility as police so that they can go and capture them, which kind of reminds me of like Catching a Predator, like those kind of shows back in the day, like Chris Hansen. And it's wild that Ariel is up to this nowadays. Quite a story. Let's take a look at her acting and what's really happening with these creeps.
You're not gonna like block me again now, right?
Baby. You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want me to let you go?
Well, I mean, I like talking to you.
I'll make it off here and get cleaned up.
It was so creepy. The guy's voice, too.
I'll talk to you later, beautiful.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Going back to when you were 12 years old, could you imagine seeing that, and how would that have affected?
Oh God, those kind of questions too. Like I wouldn't. It makes you like question like being a parent someday. Like I'm gonna be so protective.
I definitely did see that as a 12-year-old girl, and it's definitely affected my life.
His circle of victims, that's a big circle. Who's he talking to tomorrow? Who's he talking to the next day? How long is it going to take to ID him and make an arrest, which is what we need to do. We need to ID him.
Now that is some amazing work that Ariel's doing. I wish I saw more of that in the world. Let's get into Chris Pratt. Now, like I said, we just had Mother's Day, and Chris Pratt did a tribute to Katherine Schwarzenegger, and it left people very divided. We talked about him actually on my main channel, Sloan, and we did a video about his relationship with Anna Faris, and he's got a weird way of expressing his love to the women he shares children with. Chris and Katherine have 3 young kids together, and he also shares a 12-year-old son, Jack, with his ex-wife Hannah Faris. He shared a series of photos of Katherine and their kids on Instagram, writing, "How do moms do it? Seriously, it's like running a circus, a hospital, a 5-star kitchen all at once. Our kids hit the jackpot with you, and so did I." He later reshared the post to his story and wrote again, "Happy Mother's Day." Before long, a lot of people questioned why he hadn't wished Anna, the mother of his first child, a happy Mother's Day, something that has sparked backlash in the past. Back in 2023, his Mother's Day tribute went viral as tons of people called him out for excluding Anna from the post. Chris specifically even gave Katherine a shout out for being the best stepmama to Jack. Some people asked, where's the tribute to the mother of your first child? You should praise Anna too. I mean, if they had a really bad breakup, maybe it would be a little bit awkward to post about her every year. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad take. Another person writes, "Wow, again, to crap all over Anna Faris for no reason. And where's the photo with the mother of your first child? I mean, I would say at least acknowledge your son." Now, some people defended him and questioned, like, why does he need to post his ex-wife? They both moved on. She's moved on as well. It doesn't need to be reminded of every year. Thank you for watching this clip from the Let's Get Into It podcast. To view the full episode, visit the link listed below.